You didn't fall behind. You were never in the race to begin with. And that's the part nobody's talking about. Think about the last time you scrolled through your phone and felt that slow, creeping feeling in your chest. Not anger, not jealousy, something worse. That quiet, hollow ache of wondering why everyone else seems to be living a life you haven't even started yet. They're getting married, getting promoted, building companies, buying houses, and you're still here in the same room, wondering when your moment is coming. You've been waiting so long that the waiting itself has started to feel like failure. And here's what makes it unbearable. Nobody around you can see it. On the outside, you look fine. But on the inside, there's this gnawing voice that won't shut up. It whispers that maybe you've been forgotten, that maybe the window's closing, that maybe you made the wrong choices, or you're just not the kind of person things happen for. What if I told you that voice is lying to you, and that the very isolation you're desperate to escape is the single most important thing that could ever happen to you right now? What if the silence isn't punishment? What if it's preparation? Let's start in the one place modern culture refuses to look: underground. Before any tree stretches toward the sky, before any flower pushes through the soil, there is a season of complete and total darkness. A seed buried in cold, wet earth doesn't know it's growing. It can't see the light. It has no proof that spring is coming. From the inside, the experience of becoming a tree feels exactly like dying. We look at nature and we romanticize the bloom. We photograph the flower, the fruit, the forest. Nobody takes pictures of the seed underground at 2 a.m., dissolving in the dark. But that dissolution is not destruction. It is the most critical phase of the entire process. Here's the part that most people miss. A seed has to completely break apart before it can become something greater. The hard outer shell, the thing that protected it, has to crack open and surrender. The seed has to give up what it was in order to become what it's meant to be. Psychologists call this kind of process a liminal phase, the threshold state between who you were and who you're becoming. It's the cocoon, it's the chrysalis. And here is something remarkable about the chrysalis that most people don't know. When a caterpillar enters its cocoon, it doesn't just rearrange. It literally dissolves. Its body breaks down into a biological soup, a liquid with no recognizable form, before it reorganizes into something entirely new. That is what your isolation is doing to you right now. You feel like you're dissolving because you are, not because you're failing, because you're being rebuilt. The version of you that walked into this quiet season was not the version capable of carrying what's coming next. Your isolation isn't a waiting room, it's a forge. Now let's talk about the machine that's making this season so painful. Your brain was not designed for the world you're living in. For hundreds of thousands of years, human beings lived in tribes of roughly 100 to 150 people. Your brain evolved to compare itself to that small group. Your village, your community, the people you could see with your own eyes. Keeping up with your tribe wasn't vanity, it was survival. Knowing your place in the social hierarchy helped you make decisions, find mates, secure resources. The comparison instinct kept you alive. But today that ancient instinct has been weaponized. You are no longer comparing yourself to 150 people. You're comparing yourself to 8 billion. And the algorithm has been specifically designed to show you only the highlight reel of every single one of them. You see the engagement announcement, not the years of loneliness before it. You see the business launch, not the 7 failures before it. You see the vacation, not the credit card debt that paid for it. Your Stone Age brain is trying to process information it was never built to handle, at a volume it was never designed to receive, and it is losing. And when you're in isolation, when your phone goes quiet, when the invites stop coming, when the group chats move on without you, your comparison engine starts to starve. At first, that feels like withdrawal. It's uncomfortable. The silence feels like rejection. The stillness feels like stagnation. But something incredible happens when the noise finally stops. You start to hear yourself again. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men who ever lived, wrote his most profound thoughts not from a throne, but in the margins of his own private journals, in the quiet hours before dawn. Keanu Reeves, who has faced more personal grief than most people could survive, once spoke about the strange gift of being able to sit alone in a room without being afraid of what you find there. That's not a small thing. That is the rarest human skill there is. Most people are terrified of their own silence. They fill it with noise, music, social media, television, alcohol, anything to drown out the voice inside. Because the voice inside asks questions they don't want to answer. Who are you when no one is watching? What do you actually want? What do you actually believe? Your isolation is forcing you to answer those questions, and that is not a punishment. That is a privilege. The foundation you are building right now, the one that doesn't depend on likes or follows or who noticed you at the party, that foundation is called internal gravity, and it is the only kind of foundation that actually holds when things get heavy. I want you to honestly answer a question. If everything you've ever wanted showed up tomorrow, the platform, the influence, the success, the recognition, could you handle it? Not in theory, not on your best day. Right now, with the emotional maturity, the self-discipline, the psychological stability you have at this exact moment, could you carry it without it crushing you? Because most people can't. And this is the part of the preparation story that nobody wants to say out loud. Some people get what they want too early and it destroys them. We see it over and over again. Athletes who peak at 19 and spend the rest of their lives chasing a feeling they don't know how to recreate. Entrepreneurs who build a company fast and burn it down faster because they were never equipped to lead at that scale. People who get the relationship, the house, the career, and then fall apart because the achievement exposed every weakness they'd been too busy to develop. The goal is not just to get there. The goal is to be the kind of person who can stay there. And that person, the one who can hold the weight of real impact without crumbling, is not built in the light. They are built in exactly the kind of season you're in right now. Think about what a blacksmith does with raw steel. The metal doesn't become a blade by being admired. It becomes a blade by being subjected to extreme heat, hammered relentlessly, and then cooled. That process, heat, pressure, cooling, repeated over and over, is what removes the impurities. What's left is something harder and sharper than anything that went in. You are the steel. And this season of isolation, of quiet, of feeling overlooked, this is the heat. You are not being punished. You are being refined. Think about the greatest athletes, the most impactful leaders, the artists whose work has moved generations. Almost without exception, there is a period in their story, sometimes years, that looked from the outside like failure, like stagnation, like nothing was happening. But something was always happening. They were developing the character capacity to carry what was coming. You are in that chapter right now, the chapter that looks boring from the outside, but is building everything on the inside. So here is what I want you to do the next time the ache hits you. The next time you pick up your phone and feel that hollow drop in your stomach, stop. Put the phone down. And instead of asking, "Why not me?" ask a different question. Ask, "What is this season building in me that the next season will require from me?" Because your season is coming. Not in spite of this isolation, because of it. The world has a way of waiting for people who are ready. Not people who are perfect. Not people who have it all figured out. People who have done the quiet work of becoming someone worth trusting with the weight of real impact. People who have been in the dark long enough to know how to be a light for others. You are becoming one of those people. The person who walks back into the noise when this season is over will not be the same person who retreated into the quiet. They will be more grounded, more clear, more capable of handling failure without collapsing and handling success without losing themselves. They will be someone who built their foundation in a season when no one was watching, and that foundation will hold when everything else shakes. Don't rush out of the stillness before it has finished building you. The seed doesn't know spring is coming, but spring is coming. The steel in the forge doesn't know what shape it will take, but the blacksmith does. You may not be able to see what is being made out of this season, but something is being made. Something stronger than what went in. Something sharper. Something more true. Trust the process that has no shortcuts and demands everything, because the things worth having always do. If you're in your preparation phase right now, if you're in the quiet, in the waiting, in the season that feels like it will never end, drop a comment below. Tell me where you are, because I want you to see how many people are in the same silence, fighting the same fight, building the same foundation. You are not alone in your solitude. And if you want to go deeper into what it actually means to turn your quietest seasons into your greatest power, the next video is waiting for you. We go into the psychology of what silence reveals that noise never can, and how the most dangerous thing you can do right now is fill your quiet with distraction before it finishes its work. I'm Frank Massey. Stay in the forge a little longer. I'll see you in the next one.